in YouTube and the YouTube fat stringers. That's what he says. Low-end lovers and fat stringers or something like that. That's not my catchphrase. That's the man Lamius' catchphrase. And this is a video response to his video about how to keep motivated, I guess, on playing music in general, like the bass. And I'm going to give you my tips on how I keep myself motivated from burning myself out and keep my creative flows going. Because a lot of times when you're just jamming for a long time, you can lose motivation. Losing motivation, you can sit there and play, let's say, for 2-3 hours every single day for 6 months, and you can lose your creative flow because your flow is going to go eventually up this way because you're going to start riffing and learning and getting really into the music. It's just eventually playing so much, so long, you're going to hit a rut. And even professional bass players like Jason Newsted, Cliff Burton, all these guys have got a rut in their career somewhere down the line. My honest tips are, what I do is, like, I like to go travel. I'm a traveler at heart. I still haven't made my way over to the UK, and like I want to see England, and I definitely want to see Japan. Two dopest places I want to see. But what I'm getting at is traveling will take your mind off of music because you're getting away from the musical aspect of playing. And my thing is, once I go somewhere, because I've traveled places where I've traveled for like a month at a time, and when I get back, I'll sit there and pick up the bass, and it'll be more motivated to play that bass because I haven't played it for a while, and I kind of feel like a noob because I picked the bass up and I'm like, it feels kind of weird. I'll say kind of weird to just sit there and start playing the finger walk, and just your creative flows will come through you because you're like, wow, I haven't played in a while, and then that's when you start just playing riffs and you're just jamming, and the creative flows just come out of you because you haven't played bass for a while. And doing these, and one thing I gotta say, doing these sweeps and these fast speed lines like you hear in the band Cannibal Corpse or these really aggressive metal bands, you cannot really transition that to a regular band because those fast speed lines and these sweeps, they're not very musical, man. To me, though, that's not, I don't really even want to learn that technique. I know a lot of people say you should learn every technique, but doing a lot of sweeping on a bass or guitar isn't musical. If you listen to the guitar player Rusty Cooley, that dude, he's very talented, but his music, it's funny. He's a very talented guitar player, but his songwriting skills are just horrible. He does all these little sweeps, and it really sounds like he's playing a video game. It's horrible. That's just my opinion. It sounds horrible. But what I was getting at is, if you're not into like tapping or doing a lot of pop and slap, or you never learned that, learn the technique because that's going to help you progress your musical journey. Because if you're just playing one single style, like let's say you're a newcomer on the scene playing bass, and you're into, let's say, Blink-182, and you're just playing that really fast, like, E note, eventually learning all these different techniques will motivate your creative flows. Because, or another way to do it is, like I said, going out and stop playing bass for a while. That's one tip. Learn different techniques is always a great tip because everybody gets in a rut, and learning different techniques will help you progress your bass or guitar journey. Okay guys, I was talking to a friend the other day, and she's a blast beat type drummer because she's in a death metal band, and one thing we were talking about is what's a good drummer and what's not a good drummer. And I was bringing up one of the best drummers in music, period, is Lars Ulrich of Metallica, and she's like, he's okay, he's not the greatest, he doesn't do this fast double bass, and he doesn't do a lot of blast beats and a lot of fast crazy stuff. And I was thinking to myself, and I told her, the drumming that he does fits Metallica to a T. If you took him doing blast beat on the drum, it wouldn't fit Metallica whatsoever. You'd be like, what's this? It's not even fitting the band. And You gotta make them, and you look at bass players like the bass player in Godsmack. He's a very good bass player. He can do a lot of tapping, a lot of slapping, but when he actually sits down with his band, who play like just the, who play like just like two strings, like do 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 do, and it's not very technical. And as a technical side of music, as a technical player, a lot of people look at these dudes, like I said, that bass player or Lars from Metallica, and say, he's not really that great. He kind of sucks. And honestly, he doesn't suck. He's playing what the music requires. You're not going to do a lot of slapping and popping in like a band like Godsmack or Metallica. It's just not appropriate for the music. So if you can write a simple riff like they do, and I think Lars Ulrich is a very good drummer, and he's very always underrated, and people always talk crap. Oh, he sucks. He doesn't suck. It's just he doesn't play very technical stuff. He plays, I guess you could say, more simpler riffs, but it fits the band. So if you can play music that fits the band, you don't have to worry about, oh, you suck because you're not playing what these fast speed of lines. I think the main thing about motivation on an instrument is creating. Music is an expression. It's an art form, and a lot of people always want to just learn cover songs. And like my uncle, for example, this dude's been playing for like 45 years on the guitar, and he does not play any cover songs, nothing. He knows some, but he always likes to create his own music because he got into music for creating his own music, and that's why I and you got into music for, is to create your own music. And I always hear these people, well, playing cover songs is really good. Well, it might be good to an extent, but jamming your own songs and letting people hear your own songs is what we all got into music for. And one way to know that you're really improving on the bass, I was just looking at Demand Lamus' video, and he made a good point, like writing a diary. But my thing is, the YouTube videos, I can go back to the first YouTube videos that I did in like 2007, and I look at the videos that I'm doing now, and I can see my progression as a musician go from level 1 to like level 10. I can see that. And even if you're making video vlogs of you just jamming, over 6 months time you will see, if you go back, see yourself improving. And what really motivates me a lot is when I see the YouTube comments, or I see a fellow subscriber of mine who's been a subscriber of mine since like 2007 will actually tell me, dude, you're actually improving as a bass player. And even students that I have, and I go to like the guitar store and I jam, and people come up to me and they're like, dude, you're really good. A lot of musicians will not admit they're as good as they really are, but when someone says to you that you've never seen before in your life, that comes up to you in like a guitar store or something and says, dude, you're an actually tremendously good musician, that really motivates me to be like, wow, I really appreciate it. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hopefully you guys get motivated to keep on rocking out, and your bass journey keeps on going, because I never want to see a bass player or any musician start playing, get unmotivated, and then quit. There's always ways to keep your creative flow going, and one of mine is going out in the nature and or going to like the ocean and just listening to the water. That's very relaxing for me, and it helps me think about maybe a new bass line or something else like that. So I will see you guys in the next video. Later, guys.